A tiny swatch doesn't really show you what your paint can do. So instead, let's try this quick fun project that will have you joyfully filling your sketchbook. This morning, I'm testing out the flower set of 6 granulating watercolours from Holbein. But if you're playing along at home, you really don't need new paints to do this fun little project. It's a great way to get to know your existing palette and see what some of your favourite and less used colours could actually do for you while you fill up your sketchbook. Speaking of which, let's choose a watercolour sketchbook for this project because we do need proper watercolour paper to test out the properties of these pigments. But if you don't happen to have a watercolour sketchbook, just use some loose sheets of watercolour paper. And what you can see me doing is I am separating it out into little grids. Now, I happen to have a square sketchbook and I'm going to separate it out so that I have 4 long grids across the page. But of course, work with whatever shape of sketchbook you've got. You might end up with slightly different sized and orientations in your little boxes, but it's really not going to make too much difference. I'm using washi tape, but you can also use any sort of painter's tape that is going to be easy to remove, but is going to give us nice clean boxes, because what I want to do is paint with one colour in each one of these spots. The idea is really just to have a little bit of a play. Don't overthink it too much. So I'm making sure that I've got some places where I've got very concentrated pigment, lots of paint, not too much water, and other places where I've put more water so that I can see what happens to the paint when it spills out and gets a little bit more dilute. I can also experiment with things like putting down the water first, having a damp corner on one section, and having a little grid like this means you can try out a whole lot of different ideas. I know that what I'm going to do when these little squares are all dry is try and find some sort of landscape scene, a bit of an abstract landscape out of the marks I'm making. So I'm thinking of things like something a bit lighter in the top corner, that might be the sky. I'm kind of thinking of grassy textures and hills. I'm kind of being inspired by the particular paint colour, because this is also the idea. I'm kind of getting familiar with the paints and the colours, and I want to see what sort of things inspire me when I get to play with each one of these colours. But I also don't want to do too much overthinking here at this stage. I mean, here I am thinking about hills and things, but for some of the others, I'm happy to just put down abstract marks. And because I've got a whole set of boxes to fill up, I can try with all these different ideas and see what I come up with. Even if I've just got abstract patches of dark sections and light sections and different mark making, it's very fun to see what you can make of it, and in the end, even if it just becomes a little abstract square of colour on the page, it's going to be rather a fun thing to do and very helpful as well. It's helpful because even though I'm really just playing with abstract blocks of colour, I'm also using some of my techniques. The greens here are inspiring these grassy hills, so I'm practicing softening off techniques, using my slightly damp brush to soften out the edge of a mark, or using the tip of the brush to kind of suggest grassy textures. But it's in such a low pressure way because it's really just a funny little block that's going to be a little semi-abstract piece when I'm done. So it's really a chance to just play and experiment. Now, the green was saying grassy fields, and the blue is delightful. It's definitely saying sky to me. But as much as I said landscapes, I'm going to give myself the option of putting in a seascape, because these beautiful blues are making me think of the seaside on a very sunny day. And one of the other things that I'm going to experiment with here is what happens when you use the paint really nice and thick, because a little painting that's using just the one colour is going to really rely on values. That's the darks and lights. So it's a fantastic thing to have a bit of practice with, trying to figure out what the darkest value you can get out of your colour is and what the lightest value is. So I've swapped to my nice large flat brush, and I'm using the paint very concentrated, so almost no water, In fact, I've put it on thick as butter is the way we often describe it, in that little section that I'm thinking is going to be something like the hills on the distant horizon there, because I want that to be my dark section that's separating my sky from my sea. And then I'm using a bit of dry brush technique to suggest a few watery marks into the foreground, because the foreground is going to be my little sea. So I've got a very simple seascape going on in that last final box. I do love the dry brush, but I want to spread out the colour in some places. So I'm kind of experimenting with how I can use these different techniques. And it's when you add a bit of water to this particular colour, this is the blue, when you add water, it splits into lovely little soft lilacs, which is really very, very pretty. So I think this blue is going to be a definite favourite for me. So I do have 2 more colours to test, but I've run out of boxes on this particular spread. And what I want to do now is make sure it's completely dry and then pull off the tape. It's always so fun to see those crisp white borders be revealed, isn't it? With a pen, I want to add a little cottage, just using a few simple lines so that there's a little focal point on my tiny little landscape. So I'm looking at a photo of a cottage just to help me get the angles in the right places and that sort of thing. But I've been painting a lot of cottages in watercolour at the moment. It's our current month in the Happy Painters Hub. So I've got cottages on the brain, and they were the thing I automatically wanted to add to this little painting here. And of course you can use a black pen. I find black is a little bit too much contrast for me, so I go for something subtler. This one is a kind of soft chocolate brown, and I rather like that in this little green hill, just to put a few little marks to suggest my tiny little cottage. And I think the cottage also needs a little bit of a pathway. I'm also going to play around adding little grass textures, any sort of extra lines that I want to include. And at this stage, you can really use your imagination. Do as much or as little drawing as you want to, just until you're happy and you feel like you've finished playing. In the green picture, I felt like the little cottage should be nestled high up on the hill, but each panel will suggest something slightly different to you. For example, on this red one, I'm really just going to treat it like an abstract background, and I think I'd like to draw a little cottage in the bottom third, not because the shapes are suggesting it to me, but just because I want to draw a little cottage in this spot. And I think I'm going to put a bit of a hedge and maybe a gate, just again using my pen to create very simple line drawings to start to indicate a little bit of a cottage scene. I've rather enjoyed just ignoring the shapes in the background and using it simply as something interesting on the page. So I think I'm going to do that again with this pale pink one, especially because it's so pale. And I've got this lovely image that I'm looking at of some little buildings nestled in beside this, I don't know whether this is a river or the sea, but there's this huge cliff face that I'm going to suggest. And to kind of put it in the distance, I want to make sure I use very fine, simple lines. It's one of the ways I can show a bit of distance is that the paler and finer the lines are, the further away they're going to seem, and the stronger and darker and bolder the lines are, the closer they're going to seem to us. So I'm going to try and do that. I mean, I know I do have just this one pale brown pencil, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I'm looking forward to putting in this tiny little suggestion of little houses, and I think there's a kind of church building in the bottom corner. But really, I'm choosing to do very simple line work. Of course, you can choose to make this as detailed as you like, and that's also going to depend on how large your page is and how long your kind of panel grids each are. That will give you more space to put in a few more details. I think I like my simple little seascape just as it is, so I'm not going to add any pen drawing to that one, but I do have 2 more colours to test, so let's do that next. Now this is the Clematis Violet from the flower set, and it's the reason I chose the flower set over some of the others, because I do love a purple. But I have to say it's probably not even one of my favourites out of this set. It's a nice enough purple, but what I did realise is that it really becomes a bit more interesting when you add a bit more water. So I've opted to start with the sort of lighter suggestion up in the sky, but down in the base I'm going to splash in a whole lot of just clear water, because when those water droplets hit, it's the sort of thing you would be horrified by if it happened while you were painting, because that's how you make cauliflowers, by putting in too much water into a wash that is kind of damp and starting to dry off. But in this case, I want to see what happens, and it's when you add water to this colour that it splits out and gives you those kind of goldy, yellowy undertones peeping through. The 6th colour is this dark grey-green colour, and I think this is also going to be one of my favourites. I do have a softness for very dark colours in watercolour, and that's because if you start with a dark colour, you've got so much more possibility of getting a range of values just by varying the amount of water, so how much you dilute it by. Because if you start with something very dark, you've obviously got many degrees of paler and paler and paler, adding a bit more water. You can see that in the sky. I've got the softest of washes up there, and down in the bottom sort of half, I'm putting in the odd brush stroke that I'm sort of thinking about landscapey sort of things, but I'm not trying too hard to create something. But because I've already done a couple of these on the other page, I think I'm getting a bit more comfortable with the whole process. Are you finding that too? Is it a bit more fun and a bit easier now that you've got a page of them under your belt? I can't wait to have a go at seeing what shapes and things I can find in these. Since I've got 2 panels left in my grid, I'm going to just use up the paint that's on my palette. I've been using only 1 colour per panel up till now, but I think what I'm going to do in this last 2 is just mix up the colours as I see fit. So I'm really just playing now. I'm going for whatever colours I think might look nice together. I'm just letting the brush do what it likes. I'm enjoying trying to vary the marks and vary the amount of paint and the amount of water, and just seeing what I can come up with. Don't forget, you want to make sure these paintings are absolutely dry before you move the tape, and definitely dry before you start drawing on them with pen. You can always use the hairdryer if you're a little bit impatient like I am. Now I decided that I didn't really want to put the brown on this gorgeous bluey green. It reminds me a lot of the Lunar Blue by Daniel Smith, which is another favourite colour of mine. So I've gone for I've got a similar kind of blue pen, and I love the idea of this, but I think it's a little bit too subtle because you can hardly see the marks I'm making. With this one, I can almost see the scene that has kind of been painted by the watercolour itself. You know, to me, it looks like little sections, banks of trees and little bits of water. So I'm just adding in suggestions of what might be trunks and branches and kind of emphasizing some of those, whether they're, you know, river banks, the water banks, whatever those are. But it doesn't need too much, because I think for this one, I can kind of see a lovely abstract landscape just as it is. But what I do like is this idea of changing the colour of the pen. So I happen to have a purple pen. Let's use that next. This feels a bit like that game that you play with kids, looking for clouds, looking for shapes in the clouds. In this purple painting, I can see what looks to me like the shape of 2 angled roofs. And it really wasn't what I was trying to paint when I, you know, just put in my blocks of colour. But right now I can see two little houses, so I'm not even looking at a reference photo. I'm kind of just working with the shapes that are there to suggest two little houses with their gorgeous angled roofs and a couple of generous hedges in front of them. So not many lines. All I want to do is kind of suggest what I can see. And here I do like the subtlety of the pen matching the paint. But of course, this is exactly the sort of thing you can experiment with. See whether you like more contrast or less contrast. Do you want to add coloured pencil? Do you want to add acrylic marker? Really, the sky's the limit. But what you can see is just how these paints behave in various concentrations and just what extra special properties they may or may not have. I did find the trumpet red vine rather delightful, the cherry blossom a little bit pale. The green is okay, and the jade blue is just delightful. It's going to be a favourite. The clematis violet, it's okay, interesting yellow variation. And my favourite is probably this beautiful deep dark grey. I couldn't immediately see what to put into these little abstract panels, but I went away and had a cup of tea, and then I could see this little house peeping out from behind the hedge, and this little cottage tucked into the countryside. Sometimes you just need to give it a minute and your brain will find the answer, just like it did when we did this other sketchbook project turning blobs into birds. Why not watch that one next?